We've got some new casting and filming details for the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel that I think fans are going to be excited about. So sources have reported to the trades that Jenna Ortega, yep, that Jenna Ortega, Miss Wednesday Addams and Scream Queen herself, could possibly be up for the role of Lydia Dietz's daughter. So Lydia Dietz, of course, was played by Winona Ryder in the OG film, and Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton are set to reprise their roles for the new sequel. So Jenna Ortega may just be a good fit. In my personal opinion, I think, I'm hoping that maybe she's not quite exactly like Lydia was in the movie. She already played Wednesday Addams, so she's playing Lydia Dietz's daughter just like Lydia was as far as like her dark and dreary outlook on life and, how morbid she was. I think that'd be too close to how she was as Wednesday Addams, so I'm hoping that if she plays this role, that she's going to be more, maybe not complete opposite, but, more opposite in personality and not all the way in like Lydia was at the same age. Now, this is something I was kind of surprised at first about to hear, but not really because, she was Wednesday Addams and that was a Tim Burton, related production. So I'm not surprised that Tim Burton's keeping it all in the family and having Jenna Ortega kind of jump over to another project. He's done this with Helena Bonham Carter, with Johnny Depp. So it just kind of makes sense that he wants to keep, his peeps close to him. And I think that should be a great addition to that movie. There, of course, has been no official synopsis or plot for this movie because it is in the early stages of casting and I guess pre-production, you would say. But I do have a pretty good idea that I think could work if, they chose me to write the movie. And I wanted to share that with you guys and maybe get your thoughts on what you think. So here's what I have if we had Lydia Dietz's daughter, played by Jenna Ortega, in the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel. So I have Lydia's husband passes away, and while her daughter, played by Ortega, may not follow in exactly her mother's dark and dreary footsteps from the first film, she is saddened by her father's passing. In her recent sadness, she starts questioning death and desires to see her father again. She rummages through some boxes in the attic of old pictures and stumbles upon the handbook for the recently deceased. That's how you connecting it to the first one. When she opens it, the flyer for Beetlejuice's services falls to the floor, just like it did when, I believe it was Gina Davis' character. No, it actually was probably Lydia's character, I think, that did it, where it had Beetlegeist and the cockroach and all that kind of stuff on it. So just kind of repeating those same motions, While not sure what to think about what she has found in its contents, her curiosity gets the best of her, and she tries various things from the book to no success because, she's not dead. As a matter of last resort, she goes back to the flyer for Beetlejuice and says his name 3 times. The rest writes itself, right? We already know what happens when that, he gets involved. And because, he is now, if that were to happen and she brings him into the living, that kind of helps her be able to kind of reverse and go into the land of the dead or the netherworld. So I have, with the rest writing itself, including her having to team up with her mom Lydia to put Beetlejuice back, who now wants to repeat what happened in the first one and marry Lydia's daughter so he can be a part of the living because that's what he wants and, kind of cause terror. On their journey through the netherrealm, they run into Barbara, who hopefully will be reprised by Gina Davis, and other new characters. So I think that would be a great story for the sequel. I know that, in the past we've had some not so great ideas for sequels like Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian. I don't think that was ever going to be a good idea, but, whatever they thought. But I think that'd be kind of a good, simple, easy way to, I think that would make sense with fans too. I mean, that seems like a very logical way to introduce Beetlejuice and the new era with a new set of characters, while also involving old characters. But let me know in the comments what you think about my idea for Beetlejuice, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. So continuing on to the filming and production news, Beetlejuice 2 is set to begin filming in late May or early June, with Tim Burton possibly set to direct. I don't know if I'd want anybody else to direct this movie because he did such a good job with the first one. He's directed Michael Keaton in the Batman movies. I think that it would not be a proper Tim Burton. This would not be a good sequel if Tim Burton did not, helm the director chair. Just like with Wes Craven and all the other, James Cameron and Steven Spielberg, you got to have some of the OGs behind this chair calling the shots. So Tim Burton, I think, needs to be involved. It is said that this movie is going to be possibly released in 2025. I think that is plenty of time for them to get the story, get the script, get the casting, get everything just right, and hopefully have a really successful sequel. I mean, Michael Keaton should be free since he'll be doing press for the Flash movie. So having production start around that time seems like great timing. It's going to be within Warner Brothers, I'm sure, because Warner Brothers is the one that released the first one. So given that The Flash is DC and a Warner Brothers movie, Beetlejuice vis-a-vis, he should be able, he's all in the family, so it should be no big deal. And also, something I found interesting is Michael Keaton was recently voted USA's top Batman, which for me, Michael Keaton is my Batman. Beetlejuice came out the year I was born, so did Batman. So for me, he's my Batman. What I did think was interesting is just some tidbit, kind of trivia facts. I think this is cool. So could Beetlejuice 2 be the next Top Gun Maverick? So Top Gun came out 36 years exactly to the sequel. When Beetlejuice comes out, it will be 36 years later. So is Beetlejuice 2 trying to follow Top Gun Maverick's formula of success with nostalgia, having OG characters come back, possibly having a good story, and try to achieve $1 billion status? Maybe. I would love to see a Beetlejuice movie make $1 billion. The original made $80 million on a $15 million budget, so it was a success. It has become a cult classic. It is one of my favorite movies. You can find all kinds of collectibles and memorabilia. They have a Broadway show. They even have a pop-up shop restaurant. Beetlejuice is something that fans love, and I think it will be more successful than it was back in 1988. So, what do you think about these new casting details as far as Jenna Ortega playing Lydia's daughter? What do you think about my story idea? And what do you think about filming and it possibly being a new Top Gun Maverick? I'll love your thoughts on the comments down below. And that's it for this video, guys. Enjoy that like button. For more like this one, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.